I feel like the Fever and Wings always play entertaining games, or maybe the Fever always play entertaining games, regardless of who the opponent is. Final home game of the season for Indiana, and they are now ready for the playoffs. They got one more game in general, but it is postseason time. Caitlin Clark, postseason time. We'll see that for the first time in history. We've seen so many different rookie feats for the first time in history. She broke the rookie scoring record, obviously, most points by a rookie. And she had the all-time assist record for most assists by a player, period, in a single season. And the haters are in shambles. They're trying to say that she gets fake assists, stuff like that. Now she's got that three ball falling. When you combine it with her ability to drive and finish at the cup, her ability to play make in the in-between and dime you up, and her ability to shoot from deep, Clark is just tough to deal with. She is just tough to deal with. And the Fever have a chance in any playoff series because they have Caitlin Clark on the team. And when you flank her with Kelsey Mitchell in the backcourt, that just makes them dangerous regardless of who the opponent is. I like the Connecticut Sun as a possible matchup for them as well, due to the lack of scoring power from Connecticut. Different level conditioning and motor from Caitlin Clark. That's special talent, special court awareness, anything else you want to say. You saw that on display from Cece in this one. And she continued to show her toughness, right? Like, I'm not making a big deal out of this. This was not a big deal. It was a hard foul. It was called correctly on the floor. So there's no problem with this call, but you see Caitlin able to take it. I mean, this is a hard arm across the neck in this one. And she gets back up and she gets back out there yet again. And yet again, does stuff that we just haven't really seen. And you saw a lot of highlight plays down the stretch, particularly from the Fever. This was one of them. Get everybody involved in the action here. But Clark with the saucy behind the back take out to the corner to Lexi. Does a good job quickly getting it to Dantas, who knocks down the three. They might need Dantas in the postseason. The power forward spot is my biggest question mark. It has been my biggest question mark. It's still my biggest question mark. I get nervous anytime Nalissa Smith is involved in defense or offense. I don't trust her ability to get stops on the defensive end. I don't trust her decision-making with the ball, whether it's the shots she takes or the passes she makes or the seemingly absent-minded or lack of focus plays that she consistently makes. Temi Fagbenle plays very hard, does a nice job defensively, does a nice job moving without the basketball. I think we'll see her get a lot of crucial minutes. She hit one corner three in this game, which was important for her development going forward. Dantas is a different look because she's got that big frame and she can physically maybe deal with some of the posts that they'll deal with in the playoffs, and she can hit the spot up three-point shot. But it was the player on the other team that I want to see on the Fever next season. Satu Sabali is like an ideal fit. That's the player, one of the players at least, that they need to specifically go over the top, does Indiana and the Fever going into a postseason series. Sabali with 27 points in this one. But the Fever got owned inside by Natasha Howard. So, there are still holes for Indiana. Defensively, you can't always rely on what they're going to be able to do. They got beat on the boards early in this game, but they have that scoring punch where they have that puncher's chance regardless of who the opponent might be. And it looks like it's going to be Connecticut, which is a much better matchup for them than the Minnesota Lynx, because the Lynx can both defend and shoot. Connecticut is tough, physical. We've seen those battles with Dejanay Carrington and Caitlin Clark all year. I think that will make for a nice subplot to a possible playoff series. But I like the Fever's ability to score in tough spots more than Connecticut's ability to manufacture buckets, at least. Let me put it that way. And, the Caitlin Clark haters continue to have to manufacture narratives to move the goalposts. If you remember at the beginning of the year, it was, it's too physical. The league's going to be too physical. gone. Well, turnovers, too many, gone. Well, their teammates are better. Kelsey Mitchell, who, by the way, is awesome, but was there before when they weren't winning. And Erica Wheeler had put out the post, basically somebody said, would they be in the playoffs without Caitlin? And she said, no, gone. To the ridiculous and absurd of, well, her assists are fake, or, they're giving her assists that shouldn't count and the like. Because the assist that she broke the record on was an inbounds pass to Kelsey Mitchell where she took a couple dribbles. Not that that's against the rule book. By the rules, it was an assist, even if it wasn't the best assist in spirit. But we look at, all of these other awesome assists that Caitlin Clark has had this year, or non-assists. Like there was one to Lexi Hull in this game, who she just blew a layup. What do you want, Caitlin to do on that play? Right? Like she's had a bunch of assists that weren't converted either. So that's just another way to attempt to hate on Caitlin Clark, which has become, that's got to be a difficult existence. It is. It's going to be a difficult existence for a long time. In fact, I would recommend therapy to anyone who is still taking that position, who is still trying to hate on the generational greatness that is Caitlin Clark, because we've seen it in what I think at this point is the best rookie season in WNBA history. Certainly at worst, top 2 with Candace Parker, and an MVP caliber season from Caitlin Clark. It just so happens in a year that Asia Wilson is simultaneously having, basically the most dominant season there's been. And the Fever are going to the postseason. They're going to be there. We're going to see what Caitlin Clark and the Fever look like in WNBA playoff basketball. And look, regardless of what happens there, they've already had a successful season. But I've said it before, I'm not putting a ceiling on what they're able to achieve, because they're able to give the ball to Cece.